Book review, a biography of Kenshiro Abbe by Abdul Rashid. Um, so Kenshiro Abbe was a judoka and aikido guy who was very, very, very influential and instrumental in building judo around the world, but especially in the UK. I first was aware of the guy on a big level through talking to a guy called Dave Turton, 2x10th Dan, who, as you should know, Abbe is a big fan of Dave Turton. Saw this book, immediately got it. Again, it's one of the few books that I've paid full whack for. One of the things that threw me for a wobbler a little bit was the pictures here, and this one specifically. I hope you can get this. So this right here is a foot sweep, which kind of looks like, it's not quite Yeshibari because it's too high up on the knee, but the write-up there says that it's Tayatoshi. It most certainly 100% in no way, shape or form is a Tayatoshi. So Tayatoshi would be, I grab you, I put my leg across the front of your legs and I pull you over so that you're falling forward. It's not a foot sweep on the knee to the side. As I've mentioned in other book reviews, you can be really, really thoroughly enjoying a book, but as soon as you see one detail that you know for a fact is wrong, it then calls into question everything else in the book. Yeah, Tayatoshi is not a highly advanced judo technique anyway. It's not something that you should go, oh well, you've got to be a third dan before you know the difference. It's really not. Neil Adams, if you're interested in Tayatoshi, Neil Adams is the guy to look for. He's got a book out. He's got several online free clips of him in seminars exactly showing the Tayatoshi. You know you're in the right place because the entire Tayatoshi thing with Neil Adams is this hand. This hand is the whole Tayatoshi. You've got to watch the whole thing before it makes sense, but it's all in this hand. I'll show you the pictures. So it's quite, well written. There's a lot of pictures. It does try to give an overall background history of the man, where he came from, what his upbringing was, the fact that when he went to secondary school and then college, he was an absolute beast and a machine when it came to judo, and he didn't really seem to give too much of a care of anything else. It's worth getting. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. It does go into some detail about him and Kimura, Masahiko Kimura. I've already done a book review on a Kimura biography, which you can find on the channel. Obviously, Kimura, if you're into BJJ, the name should ring a bell. Kimura was and is widely regarded as possibly the greatest judo champion of all time. Had a series of scraps with Abbe, that's mentioned in the book. It's worth getting. It's worth getting as a maybe introduction to the man. It's worth getting if you know a little bit about him, but you want maybe a little bit more information. I do feel that more detail could have been given on certain stuff with this. I feel it could have gone into a little bit more detail about how he went from place to place. It could have gone into more detail about his theory and philosophy on how we train, why we train, what we train, when we train it, and how we train it. It's a good overview. I would suggest, without putting these guys out of business, don't get a first-hand copy. Wait till you can find a cheaper version online. Again, it's a biography, so your library might not have too big of an issue getting hold of a copy. Go and ask your local library if they can anyway. But again, it's worth having a read. I liked it. From a purely Abbe self-defense library, you don't need it, because again, it's a biography, it's not a textbook, it's not an instruction manual. I like it. It's nice to know and to read about people starting and then how they got to a level where they were so well sought after, and how did this guy go from just being a bit of a demon with training in school in his younger years to a point where he's traveling the world being this well-respected instructor, still managing to be completely flat broke and never seeing his own wife and kids during the whole process as well. That's a bit of an interesting part of the story. I hope you like it. On that grounds, you don't need it for your self-defense library, but again, it is worth having a copy of it somewhere, or at least borrowing it or getting hold of a cheap copy and having a read.